We have UFC 256 on the precipice of our stage right now. And we have some interesting names. Now, if you've been following the UFC, you've noticed that a lot of these fights have been called off due to positive COVID tests or personal reasons or whatever the case may be. This UFC 256 event was supposed to feature Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, and it feature Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson. Those two fights will not be happening for multiple different reasons.
It's reasons we still don't know, reasons that we'll probably never know, and you got to just deal with it. I mean, we've seen recently a lot of fights get canceled because of COVID, and it's just things you can't control. The UFC is going to do what they can. Luckily, there was enough time where they could put together a card, and it's all thanks to two flyweights who took no damage at UFC 255 and now are able to face off for another even better headline than UFC 255 for UFC 256, and that's Brandon Moreno versus Deiveson Figueiredo. This fight is going to be huge. I mean, into UFC 255, you had Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Moreno absolutely manhandled Royval. I mean, he made him look like he didn't really belong there. When you look at Brandon Moreno, he doesn't look like a guy who's 125 pounds. He is a big guy for that weight class. And then you look at Deiveson Figueiredo, he is a big guy for that weight class and had first round submission on Alex Perez at UFC 255. He got in, he got out quick. He took no damage, and he's ready to go. 21 days later, he has the quickest back-to-back title defense any champion has ever had in the UFC. This is no Alex Perez. Alex Moreno is going to be, without a doubt, the hardest competition for Figueiredo as a flyweight champ. This is going to be the hardest and most difficult test for him. I think that this is going to truly tell us whether Figueiredo is for real, whether he is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the UFC, or whether it's just a lot of hand-me wins by the UFC.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. For those of you who are like me and you don't dive deep into UFC and you're in it for the big names and the big matchups, the loss of Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling was huge. The loss of Amanda Nunes was absolutely devastating. But I need to promise you, I promise you, this fight is going to deliver, because just taking a look at this matchup, taking a look at who these guys are, you have Brandon Moreno, who's 5'7", and Deiveson Figueiredo, who's 5'5", both at 125 pounds. I mean, these guys stand really tall for 125 pounds. Based on the tail of the tape, I mean, these guys are pretty evenly matched. My biggest concern is that Brandon Moreno, his struggles have come more by decision. So if he lets this go to the decision table, I think he's going to struggle more. Or if he stands up and strikes, that's going to be a big issue for him as well.
You clearly haven't watched a Figueiredo fight, because he doesn't let anything get past 3 rounds, let alone a decision. So this fight, I'll guarantee a finish for this fight.
Well, and that's the thing. Figueiredo has got a 47% knockout / TKO finish rate. So I fully expect there to be one person standing and one person not. Whether it's by submission, because Brandon Moreno finishes at 59% by submission, there's a very good chance that somebody is not standing by the end of this fight.
And this is a fight that Figueiredo has been wanting for a while. I mean, Moreno's been saying his name for a long time. This fight, it's perfect. It's great timing, because these guys are coming off of big wins less than a month ago, and they can't stop talking about each other, which is great. It makes for a great fight. It makes for great press. I think this is going to live up to the hype 100%.
I've seen Figueiredo fight once, I believe, and I've never seen Brandon Moreno fight. And just watching some of the tape on these guys, talking to you about some of these guys off camera, I'm very interested. I'm super excited about this fight. I definitely want to tune in and watch this one, being the headline. For Dana White to allow this to be the headline, knowing a couple weeks and months in advance that he was not going to have the people that he originally slated on this card, and then to basically just not change it and roll with this, means he believes that these fights are going to live up to the hype as well.
Yeah, and I think a big part to this card actually standing up to what it was supposed to be, is the fact that Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira are both on this card as well as the co-main event. These are two fighters that are absolute beasts, both very seasoned veterans in the UFC. They've been around a very long time, and both top 10 lightweights in the UFC. I mean, these guys are going to give it all. I mean, every time you watch Tony Ferguson, he is a sight to be seen. And he's either going to give it or he's going to take it. And we all know he can take it after watching that Justin Gaethje fight. So no matter what you get from Tony Ferguson, you know it's going to be worth watching. And Charles Oliveira, he's had some up and downs. He's changed weight classes a few different times, but this is a guy who he has a win under his belt from earlier this year. I think that he could be riding a hot hand. Tony Ferguson's looking to make amends for that loss to Justin Gaethje, where he lost his interim title. If Tony Ferguson can get this win, possibly get another win under his belt, we could be asking for Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmegomedov for the 8th time.